Right.
Okay, Ian, I'm going to ask you a question. Have you ever heard of something called psychometry before?
Yeah.
It's the apparent belief that certain psychics and fortune tellers, when given a personal object, they can claim that they can pick up a lot of information from that object. They can tell a lot about the history of the object itself.
Yeah.
And they also claim that they can tell a lot about the owner of the object. What we're going to do is almost test that theory with this page in your mind. Okay? Now, just take a hold of that. I'm hoping that just by holding on to that page, that you can pick up on specific pieces of information about what's contained within the text. Okay?
Right, yeah.
Now, I'm guessing it's probably your first time trying something like this.
Yeah.
So, I've read this book before. It's an old-fashioned detective-style novel. It's a fictional book, nothing that you would probably have ever read. So, I'm going to help set the scene in your mind, and then I'm going to be asking you a few questions as we go along. So, what I want you to do is imagine that you're standing outside an old-fashioned cinema.
Yeah.
Okay? You're reading the Mac, you're rushing towards the cinema, looking up the skies, and tell me, what's the weather doing?
It's raining.
Okay, what's the first colour that comes to mind?
Red.
Okay, you go inside the cinema, okay, and you see a stranger sitting in the front row. Are you looking at this person from in front or behind?
From behind.
Okay, so you can see the rows of seats. What colour are the seats?
They're red.
Okay. This person, is he by himself or is there other people there?
No, he's by himself.
Which is strange for a cinema, but it's your imagination, not mine. So if you're looking at this person from behind, what I want you to do is imagine walking down the front so that you can look at this person from the front.
Mm.
Is this person wearing glasses?
No.
Okay, roughly how old would you say this person was?
Middle-aged. About 40, 50.
Okay. They weren't wearing glasses, no?
No.
Okay, I want you just to turn now so that you can see the cinema screen. Okay? And what I want you to do is imagine that the projector's flickered away. The film started, but we're not interested in what happens at the start of the movie. But about halfway through, we see something speeding past the screen. What is it?
It's a train.
Okay. And is this in black and white or colour?
It's black and white.
Okay. And just very quickly, a number between 1 and 10.
6.
Okay. I'm going to sort of backtrack a little bit. I'm going to try and remember as much detail as you give me. And just stop me if I'm wrong on any of this. I asked you to imagine that you were standing outside of a cinema.
Yeah.
You said it was raining.
Yeah.
You then went inside and you were standing at the back.
Yeah.
And you looked down across some red seats.
Yeah.
And there was a stranger sitting in the front row. Was this a male or a female?
Male.
Okay, you went down the front. You looked at this person. They were by themselves, yes?
Yeah.
They weren't wearing glasses.
No.
They're about 50.
Yeah.
You turned round and you looked at the movie screen and you seen like a train.
Mhm.
Okay, and this was black and white.
Yeah.
And you got the number 6.
Yeah.
Okay, if that information was contained within the text, that would be pretty impressive, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look here. Page 202, 201. We'll start here. We're all but deserted as I made my way down the high street. Through the rain, I saw the lights of the cinema, which it was. The cold blue paint of its agent facade echo in the sky. I hurried inside 6 o'clock. Remember you picked up on the number 6?
Yeah.
6 o'clock. I would only have just missed the start of the evening screening. Having bought my ticket, I entered the theatre. I stood at the back of the smoky screen room, which is where you were,
Yeah.
and looked down across the red velvet seats, which you saw.
Yeah.
But something was wrong. Where were all the people? The seats were all unoccupied except for one in the front row, which is an interesting fact. You would never get a cinema with just one person in.
Yeah.
The seats were all unoccupied except for one in the front row where a smartly dressed gentleman sat. It was a male,
Yeah.
yes? Was this the man I was looking for? He certainly didn't look like the 50-something I saw in the picture. He looked much younger. Perhaps it was because his glasses now lay folded on top of his coat. You also picked up on the fact he wasn't wearing his glasses. The film had begun. Flickering train carriages, which is exactly what you saw,
Yeah.
flitted silently across the screen. This was a classic, admittedly older black and white film without sound, but who needs sound when you've got a good imagination? I think you did perfect.